Alright guys, so in today's video we are going to take a little bit of time to talk more about The Last of Us Part 2 and specifically go over what people are saying, the general consensus that the media has gotten after getting 3 hours of hands-on time, their impressions. We're also going to go over what a lot of the public is saying, what gamers are saying, the general consensus surrounding that, and we might even go into territory that I'm hesitant to go into because it tends to bring the negativity out of me, but there are some individuals across the internet that are saying some very not so smart things in my opinion, and I don't plan on quoting anybody in this video. I don't plan on quoting any specific outlets or anything. Instead, this is just kind of like a general overview. I feel as though it's worth doing this because it's always interesting to hear what the media has to say when they get to preview a game, and it's always interesting to look at how the public is responding to what we're being shown and the new information that is being relayed to us through the media. I'm sure most of you can put together that most of it has been very positive. Now, before getting into that, I do want to let you guys know that tomorrow I do plan on streaming The Last of Us on my channel here at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So if that's something you're interested in, hopefully you'll come join me. I want to do it in celebration of finally getting the release date for The Last of Us Part 2. So again, it's going to be on my channel here at 10 a.m. Eastern. Hopefully I will see you there. But getting into this, you can clearly see just by, taking a few minutes out of your day to look at any gaming outlet, looking at any comments, listening to anything that anybody who was at this media event and got hands-on time with The Last of Us Part 2, you can immediately come to the conclusion that this is going to be a very, very good game. I frankly don't think there was anybody who was expecting anything less. Hearing what the media is saying, they are really raving about this game. And there's always going to be some people that say, oh, well, of course they are. It's a Sony exclusive, but people don't understand how ignorant they sound when they say things like that. There is a reason why most of the time, not every time, but most of the time when the media walks away from previewing upcoming PlayStation exclusive games, they have really good things to say. That's because these games are on another level. The quality of them is very high, and specifically with The Last of Us Part 2, from what I'm hearing, it really seems like Naughty Dog is going to be pushing the bar. They are really striving to try to outdo themselves, because one thing I've said consistently over time that I still hold true to is that, and I'm pretty sure everybody within Naughty Dog is well aware of this themselves, the bar that they have to surpass, that they set for themselves, is so high, you really have to wonder, are they going to be able to do that again? But some other things I've been seeing is, people, there are some people who just, for some reason, can't really accept that a game like The Last of Us Part 2 is just going to be a really, really good game. Potentially Game of the Year 2020. I'm sure you guys know the few individuals I may be referencing when I say this, but one of the lowest things I've seen so far over the course of the past couple days is when we thought for a little while there that there was going to be no multiplayer component to The Last of Us. We recently learned that there is going to be. It's just going to be standalone, and it's going to come sometime after The Last of Us Part 2 releases. I've seen a certain group of individuals really going out of their way to celebrate this fact, and it's just so bizarre to me that the media can come out here and basically say that this game is on another level. This is going to be one of the most likely one of the greatest games ever released, and there's a really good chance it's going to end up winning Game of the Year 2020. This is what most of the media is walking away saying. You can also clearly see that the fan response is through the roof. People are on another level of hype when it comes to this game, rightfully so. You can just see it based off of the small glimpse of gameplay we've gotten so far, right? The small glimpses we've gotten. Even when Joel was announced, or revealed, I should say. But you have these individuals who are trying to somehow use the fact that it's a single-player only game against it. And I do not understand what is wrong with these people, because you don't need multiplayer in every game. You do not need co-op in every game. In fact, if you look across the internet at what most people are saying, and I'm sure you'll see it in my comment sections, but if you don't believe me, go look in other people's comment sections, you'll see that most people are very, very, very happy at the fact that this game is going to be single player. Not necessarily celebrating the fact that there isn't a multiplayer, because again, there's going to be, but people are just very happy to hear that right now the focus for Naughty Dog is on delivering a really solid single player experience for The Last of Us Part 2. They're not worried about a bunch of other things. They're not trying to bite off more than they can chew at one time. They're going to be moving on from the single player once it's done and it's complete and it's released to start, really working on the multiplayer and go into that in full force. And people are very happy about that fact. I've literally seen people throwing up that, oh, look at that, PlayStation fans, they can't get any multiplayer games, or it's so sad that Sony won't provide them with any. And it's just really? You're going to tell me we're getting all this information on what's going to be probably the greatest game we get this entire generation, or one of the greatest, and this is all you can focus on? This is what you're trying to do? So, this is why I'm really pointing out, not just, don't just take my word for it, because I know that there's a lot of people who view me as, oh, you're now a PlayStation fanboy, so you're going to root for anything they do, right? And that's fine. I don't really care what people think of me. But don't take my word for it. Take the media's word for it. Of course, we can't take all the media seriously, but there are some good journalists out there who do a good job. And if you look around enough, you'll see there is clearly a general consensus here. And that is The Last of Us Part 2, it being a single-player game is going to probably blow a lot of people away. And one of the most interesting things that I've heard so far, and this actually doesn't come from the media, this comes actually from Neil Druckmann himself. I'll probably have the video playing in the background, actually. Sony released on their PlayStation YouTube channel a kind of a short video of the devs, including Neil Druckmann, kind of going over most of what they previewed during that 3-hour event and the stuff that they revealed over the past couple of days and during Outbreak Day. And one of the most interesting things he said that I think really kind of makes you realize just how big and ambitious this game is and how just, large in scope it is he said that what we've shown so far does seem like a lot. And I agree with that. I do agree. It seems like that what they've shown so far does seem like it'll be a lot within itself. But he said that's literally just a sliver. That is just a small piece of what the entire game is. And he also said there's going to be multiple areas that, he didn't want to spoil anything, of course, but it's much, much bigger than what they've shown. And as they get closer to launch, obviously they plan on showing more. And so really what this comes down to is this game, when it comes to the media impressions and what the media is saying based off of the time that they got with it so far and being able to play it, is it's on another level. And it's going to impress a lot of people. It's really going to feel like a game that we have truly been waiting for in many ways. It's a game that's going to push the limits of AI and how a game can make you feel just from playing from moment to moment. And it's going to be a game that attempts to add weight through visceral moment-to-moment combat where you don't really get that too often, right? And so for me, I'm really happy to hear that, and I'm happy to see that the response to this game, I'm in agreement with what most other people are saying, that this game just looks amazing. It just looks good. Even, what's so funny is even some of the most hardcore fanboys that are, against PlayStation or aren't big fans of PlayStation at all, I've even seen them, even they can't say anything negative about it, because it's one of those games where it's if you try to sit here and say something negative, you really just kind of look dumb, because there's not really much negative there unless you are some kind of strange individual who is, unsettled by some of the narrative plot points in the game, which I guess that's a fair reason to not be excited for it. But again, you're really going against the grain big time if you can't, take a step back and realize that not everybody needs multiplayer. Not everybody needs to have their games to have co-op and have 6 or 7 different game modes to keep their attention. Sometimes the best games are the ones where it tells you a story and it takes you on a journey and it makes you really just kind of experience things that you haven't really experienced in a game before. And all signs are pointing to The Last of Us Part 2 being one of those games, one of those once-in-a-generation games, and the fact that there are people out here trying to bring that down, can't say I'm surprised, but I just hope that they are aware of how dumb it really makes them look, because even the media, the ones who like to do clickbait, even they are having trouble saying anything negative about this game in a moment like this after getting, hands-on time with that press at that press event. So yeah, that's all. That's going to do it for this video. That's all I really wanted to say. Just wanted to take some time to go over this here and really just, go over the general consensus of what people are saying. People are very excited for this game, rightfully so. It's going to break records. I have another video that I'm probably going to make talking about some actual early data that indicates that The Last of Us Part 2 is off to a very, very, very good start when it comes to pre-order numbers and just how many copies this game is going to end up selling, because single-player games are just one and done, right, guys? But something tells me that we are in for a big surprise when it comes to the longevity of The Last of Us going forward. But let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. I will be interested to see what you guys have to say. Mainly just let me know your overall thoughts on the game so far based off of the new information we've been given and the new gameplay we've been shown and what the developers are saying. I will be interested to see what you guys have to say. Leave the video a like if you did enjoy it. It really helps it out. Lets me know you guys enjoy the content. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.